Hey everyone, you just saw the B-roll, so you kind of have an idea how this system is put together. In my previous X870E Hero overview, I did give a tease into what I was going to do. I did have more of that assembly part taped, but unfortunately I accidentally wiped the memory card I had it on. So I lost it. But from the little bit that you did see, you probably can understand that this has a stealth block, and my tubing is ran through the mount that the GPU is sitting on. Everything else is ran through the back. If I remove the top, give me 1 second. So once I've removed the top, you can see I have tubing running above, that's from the radiators, and then I have tubing going back down, going into the back of the computer. That's pretty much how this loop works. I've maximized my hiding of all tubes that you don't see any, even though this is not a BTF system. I guess it's a nice compromise. I gave you guys the BTF look, but you still had the cables, which people like to see. Unfortunately, if I scroll down here, I'm gonna quickly move my camera down. You guys will notice that my block, unfortunately, still has a lot of bubbles. I only have had the system running. I've been running the system 4 days straight, tilting in all sorts of angles. It was really bad before. I don't know why. I've never had bubbles be this stubborn. I've done all sorts of things like speed the pump up and down, ran the GPU under load. It's a lot better than it was. It looked like sea foam a couple days ago. But to be honest, it's not that unexpected. My Lianli Evo, which I did have a Heakiller block in there as well, the bubbles took like 3 weeks to completely disappear. It's made a lot of progress in the past 3 days. It's just a shame that for the launch part, it's all bubbly and it's kind of not as good looking as it can be, but there's nothing I can do about that right now. So that kind of explains the bubbling situation. It's just that I didn't have enough time to get it out. That pretty much sums it up. Right now, I'm just going to take you guys to the BIOS. You can see some of the newer stuff. I'll just quickly go over it and you guys can get an idea of what's new in the BIOS. So here we are in the BIOS. I just want to quickly state that my BIOS version is from September 12th, 2024. The original BIOS version that I received was somewhere dated around, I want to say mid-July. I had a lot of issues with that BIOS version. This one I received pretty much 2 days ago. I was able to flash it. So I didn't have as much time playing with it as I would have liked. With that said, this version did solve a lot of stability issues for me. It also allowed me to run RAM higher than I was struggling even at 6,000 with the previous version. I also had issues doing easy flash. The system would just shut down. All of that was resolved with this version. So moving forward, you'll quickly notice that the BIOS, well, at least I'm using a capture card, so it looks really crisp, but in person you'll see that it's crisper because they are now using a 1080p resolution rather than the 720 I believe it was from before. Now, just some things real quick. You'll notice here that the 105 watt TDP switch for the 9700X is now available in this version. Also, I believe they did add it already to the last generation boards. I'm not sure if it was still under beta or not. But obviously, if you're using AI overclock tuner, this doesn't really matter because it'll probably run PBO anyway and go well over the 105. So what's new here? A couple things. First, let's take a look at the Q dashboard. This is not only for the ROG boards. This is also on like the ProArt, etc. So here you get an overlay of your motherboard. Not overlay, but you get to see everything on your motherboard in terms of connections. But you also get to see what's connected. So anything in green has something currently seeded or connected into there. So for example, if I highlight memory, you can see that I'm using two Gskill DIMMs. All right. And if you come into, say here, CPU, you can see, but the other cool thing is, let's just say I want to adjust this USB header. If I click into it, I can go into USB settings. So it's a quick way to go into settings without having to use the search feature or dig through the menus. It's just the quality of life thing. It's just much nicer to have. All right. I mean, these are all coming to the USB page. So let's just try something like PCIe lanes. So that's something new. Additionally, if we were to come to monitor, we go to QFan configuration, we now have 8 points to adjust our curve rather than the 4, I think 3 or 4 that we had before. So if I come into QFan by pressing F6, you now have that 8 points of adjustment. Unfortunately, you can't narrow it down more. Like instead, let's say you didn't want 8, you couldn't pick 5. I hope they do that in the future, that you disable some points so you only have to set maybe 5 if that's all you really wanted to do. Of course, you still maintain the functionality of setting this to your water temp sensor like I have here, or multiple sources. Everything else is still here. It's just now you have more adjustment than before. Additionally, see, here's a prediction from the Auto AI OC. One more thing I wanted to show you guys is, let's see, where was it? Under Tool. So we come under Tool, and we go to here, you'll notice that Asus DriverHub. This used to be Asus Armory Crate. Before here, you would toggle whether or not you wanted to install Armory Crate. So let's just take a look at the Asus DriverHub. I'll just come out of the BIOS. Now, from my brief experience with the DriverHub, I would say it seems like it's a lightweight package compared to Armory Crate, if you don't want to install Armory Crate. Armory Crate kind of got a bad rep from the earlier versions, but the current version of Armory Crate is a lot better than what it used to be. So if you haven't used it in a while, give it a try. You would be really surprised. The only one downside of Armory Crate I've seen so far is that sometimes, let's say AMD releases a chipset driver, it may not be updated in Armory Crate for quite some time. I think Asus DriverHub kind of addresses that situation. So from what I've seen so far, the Asus DriverHub, which once this loads, it does create a shortcut on your desktop, and if you run it, it takes you to a browser page, and here you can see, it'll scan your system real quick, and then it'll tell you what drivers are available, what drivers you've installed. Also, you have the individual software kits like you would if you had installed Armory Crate. Now, this is not going to say that if you install this, you don't need Armory Crate. I would still suggest you install Armory Crate, because Armory Crate handles all the firmware and everything for your other accessories, not just your motherboard. So we come to Armory Crate. I just want to show you guys. It's still available. Obviously, DriverHub is only for drivers. It doesn't replace things like Aura Sync. And if I were to just show you guys, if I come to Update Center, a lot of folks don't do this on a regular basis, and you should. So if you get a new piece of ROG equipment, mouse, keyboard, whatever it may be, sometimes you go, oh, it's not working as well, the lighting's not working. Well, sometimes you need to update your device. And so every now and then, come into Armory Crate. You can update Armory Crate here, update your service, etc. So that's just another thing that's new. I guess it's a lighter weight thing, gave people some more options. But I would still suggest you install Armory Crate, because it's not the performance toll you take running this is no more than, let's say you ran hardware info in the background these days. Okay, but you get your temperatures, you get everything. It's just a lot more useful than it used to be. But I digress. With that said, this board is going to come in at $699, right? Last generation came in at $649, so we're talking about $50 in reality. Is it worth it? Absolutely, if you're buying now. I don't know if there's going to be a discount on X870E. I assume that's going to be slowly phased out. Why would you pay the extra $50? Obvious reasons: the better I/O, the dual LAN, having the newer generation of items. But yeah, I mean, this is a good refresh board. Not going to speak too much into pricing, because that's kind of, like I said, it's your money, your decision. But I think at the price point, I feel that competitors will come in pretty similar when offering the same things. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. So with that said, thanks for watching. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to show you guys. If I were to come in device, asterisk the board. There's also the Wi-Fi antenna. Right, if I were to come to Wi-Fi Q antenna, I will show you guys more of this on the ProArt build, simply because I need to work on this one in terms of bubbles. Probably saw the bubbles in the front, but yeah. So anyway, this allows you to kind of calibrate your Wi-Fi antenna to, better suit the positioning of the antenna in your system in your home, relative to where your AP is. Now, if you have ROG or Asus switch, not switch, I mean a router at home, it obviously, you can log into that and it connects it better, and it's easier for you to select channels that you would use so that you're not getting interference from other devices. We'll play with that on the ProArt, but it's mentioned that it's available here. Intel variants have had this on the Z790, the traffic monitor, more along the lines of like the BTF release. Did have this included, I believe. So while it's not completely new, it is new for the AM5 platform for Asus. But with that said, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the other one. I think most likely you will see the Noctua ProArt go up today, if not tomorrow. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe. Take care.